What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Slaaap Haaapy. My name is Savilian. I'm the host of Slaaap Haaapy, and this is my podcast. On today's conversation, I speak with literally one of my best homies in this music shit, one of my Melbourne brothers, Werribee native, all-round rap singer and sex god, Thirty30. This is my homie, and I was so keen. I was so glad that we could actually sit down and have this conversation. Now, a little bit about 30. We met him, me and rūku, when I say we met him because Luke connected with him online, and you'll hear about this story in the conversation. They connected online, and then when we moved to Melbourne, we ended up becoming friends. They started kicking it, and then I became friends with him, and now we go to shows together, we play together, we hang out together. We're a little crew, and it feels fucking cool. He's an incredible musician. He's super talented. He has a great voice. The dude can spit. He's just really good looking. But the thing I love most about him, there's two things. One, his drive, his work ethic is literally, I would say it's unmatched. There's not, and this is not me like, talking shit. Like, there's not many dudes who have such good output as he does, especially considering what else he has going on in his schedule. So that's the first thing I genuinely admire about him. And the second thing is he's incredibly loyal. Loves his family, loves where he's from, loves his friends, and he will fight for all of that. And you can't fucking knock a guy who stands on his morals like that. Anyway, I love 30. This is my boy. So glad that we got to have this conversation. I really hope you enjoy it. The guy's output is incredible. I'll link everything below. If you like what you hear, please go follow him, go like him. His covers, he's putting them out like every week. There's always content. The dude's always working. So there's always something for you to listen to. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this conversation. We've got more coming up. So please follow the podcast, like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you really enjoyed this chat. If you didn't enjoy this chat, also drop a comment. Either way, drop comments. Thank you very much. 3030, I love you, homie. Enjoy the conversation, guys. Slaaap Haaapy out. Keep slapping. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. And we're live. And we're live for another episode of Slaaap Haaapy. We can do it like this all day. Hey, don't stop. Inhibitions run away. Hey, don't stop. Let a bug. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're here. We're doing it. I'm doing it. I'm the host, Savilian. This is my podcast, Slaaap Haaapy. And today I'm doing it with Melbourne-based rap singer, rock star, pop star, and all-round sex symbol, 3030. Welcome to the show.
Let's get it. How you doing?
I'm good. Did that intro?
I like that you said rap singer.
Rap singer, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think of sandwiches when you say that.
Yeah, no, totally. That's
but
fine.
I rate it. I reckon we keep it.
Do you know what? A rap singer is where you put like a bread wrap inside of a sandwich.
Right.
Yeah, so like you have a sandwich with the wrap in the middle and just nothing else. That's it.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, it's a Dutch thing.
I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah. All right, so thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
After hours of yourself running late and I can't. I'm sorry.
I think it went a little bit differently.
It went very differently, and I do apologize. For anyone who doesn't know who you are or is tuning into the 3030 story for the first time, let's take them back to the beginning of your musical journey. Where does that start?
Wow. It's going back a long time.
A minute? We've got to go back a minute?
Okay. It's a minute, and I'm happy to take you on that journey.
Let's go.
So I guess in order for me to answer that with absolute honesty, I would have to take you back to 2006.
Yep.
Which seems like many moons ago now.
Yep.
Me and my family just moved up to Yarrawonga from Melbourne, just due to family circumstances.
Yarrawonga is north?
Yeah, so it's on the border of Vic and New South Wales.
Okay, yep.
So obviously born and raised in Werribee or Melbourne. And we ended up having to move further away just for lifestyle change and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
It goes deeper than that, but we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that for now. Yep.
Yeah. But obviously being in a country town for me, it was just unfamiliar territory, didn't have any friends.
So it's all new, all brand new.
It was all brand new.
Yeah.
And I was, I guess, quite overweight, some would say.
How old are you?
At that point in time, I'm about 11.
Okay.
11, yep. So it's gone back quite some time. And, I've always had an interest in sport. At that time, I wasn't really good at it. I wasn't athletic. And it was actually my little brother, shout out to Brandon, if you are watching this. I love him to death. He joined this bush band thing.
Yeah.
So up there being in the country, they had this thing at school called the bush band, and he played guitar, never played it before. And he started bringing it home. At that point in time, me and my family, my mum, my dad, and my brother and myself, we lived in a 2-bedroom unit, which was quite crammed. But he was bringing home this guitar to practice.
Yep.
But he wasn't actually practicing. So I found myself just gravitated towards it.
So he'd bring it home for himself, but he wouldn't use it, so you kind of jumped on it.
Yeah, correct. So he would just use it, for little moments, and then I would just, whenever he wasn't using it, I would just grab it just start playing around on it and not knowing what I was doing. And then as the years progress, obviously I was in year 6 at that time, so going into high school, studying music at school.
Yep.
And
like the compulsory thing?
Correct. Yeah. So a lot of the understanding the true fundamentals of chord progressions and scales and the history of music and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I didn't really take well with all the theory side of things, to be honest. It just wasn't something that I really picked up quite easily. It was something that I had to work really hard with.
Yep.
But I think as time went on, I found myself doing guitar lessons at school for a year or two, I think. And then eventually I just learned how to read tabs off Ultimate Guitar.
Yep.
.com. Shout out to ultimateguitar.com. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And it just sort of went from there. I joined a band in year 7. We all got together. It was just a bunch of boys.
Is it still in
Yarrawonga?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just, we wrote music together. We'd done, progressing through to year 12. At that point in time, we'd done a few gigs, done a few shows, a lot of Battle of the Bands type things where we'd go to different country towns, and it was amazing. It was an amazing time.
And what kind of sound is this band?
So I was rhythm guitarist at the time and backup vocalist, but it was kind of like a punk rock band at that time, which a lot of my music growing up was heavily influenced not only by your Michael Jacksons and Boy George. My mum was a big fan of Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that sort of influence. But growing up in high school, it was very Simple Plan, Green Day type influence.
Yeah.
So we implemented a lot of our love for music in different ways, shapes, or forms into the band, and it was a great time. It really was. I think in the end, after school, year 12 had passed. At that point, we'd gone on Triple J Unearthed in the Unearthed High. Yeah. And we'd had tracks that got, I think we had 2 tracks sitting at 1 or 2 for 8 weeks at one point.
Yeah, awesome.
We never got the win or anything like that, but it was a really good experience for us. And shout out to those boys too. I haven't seen them since year 12. We sort of went our separate ways and whatnot. But I'd always, throughout those years, I'd been doing covers in my bedroom and putting them up online, which is a very, you leave yourself very vulnerable.
Yep.
And it was something that, I wasn't very confident growing up.
Just on a YouTube, did you say?
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, that sort of thing. And, you leave yourself open to people to express critique and, the so-called experts that, sort of knock you down or say that you're not good enough and all that sort of stuff. So anyways, I was always doing covers and I got into rap early stages of life, moving up to Yarrawonga. My mum bought me the Eminem show, I think it was. It was an Eminem album. And just from there on, I just sort of always loved rap.
Yeah.
And I got into doing Aussie hip hop and slowly started to get more into singing and whatnot. And then, fast forward to now, I'm just doing what I do. Yeah.
Which is, how would you describe your current sound?
Versatile.
Yeah.
I don't like to be branded into one genre. I'm really gravitated towards artists who have the ability to do different things with their sound.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think ultimately for me, I wanted to become an artist that not only rapped, but could also sing on his own songs, not have to outsource people to sing hooks and that sort of thing.
Yep.
And I love singing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people like my voice.
Who?
Well,
Point them out. What the fuck?
I might reiterate that. There might be some people that might think that I'm not, I don't have a fantastic voice.
I would disagrry. I think you have a fantastic voice.
I appreciate that.
And I genuinely mean that. Like, I don't, like, there's no, I know what a pretty good voice sounds like. Mm-hmm. And I think you have a great voice.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to screenshot this later and keep that.
Yeah, little tab.
But yeah, so I think, in order to explain my sound, you really have to listen to my music, because I feel like I'm always trying to challenge myself to go into different realms of music or different avenues and trying to push the boundaries. But I also have my comfort zone, which I think ultimately would be, sort of soul, R&B / hip hop.
Yeah. Yep. Like those kind of trap, like Bryson Tiller vibes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Bryson Tiller.
Is that a good reference?
It was a good reference. I like that reference.
Yeah.
I like that.
I only just thought of that. I hadn't thought about that until just then. So
big Bryson Tiller fan.
Yeah, okay.
And obviously, like, just of late, Jack Harlow's just been like an amazing.
Bit more Harlow.
Yeah. I think just his ability to, obviously I've seen his growth from his previous mixtapes What's Poppin' drop. Mm-hmm. And listening to his growth and just his ability to just have this swagger about him without having to yell into a mic.
Totally, yeah.
It's just such something that I admire a lot.
And it is something that I've picked up on your records lately, just this ability to talk with confidence and not need to shout. I think a lot of Aussie hip hop has traditionally, or like hip hop traditionally, that there is this energy about it that, rage or violence has to be like shouted kind of thing. Whereas like, I think some of the more current pioneers who are changing that, when I think of like Drake and certain parts of like what Kendrick does, and Jack Harlow, there's a lot more softness to it and a lot more kind of like swagger to it and understanding that you don't have to shout to be heard.
Yep.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that evolution in what you've been, putting out recently.
I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know about yourself, but I mean, I've got probably about close to 400 tracks on my Spotify private, and I go back and listen.
What do you mean Spotify private?
So whenever I write a song, I'll upload it to my SoundCloud private.
Right. Yeah.
So I have like a private playlist of all my unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to like, 2017, 18, 19 even, and I'm listening to songs. I'm just like, what? Can I swear on here?
Fucking oath.
What the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We're always evolving.
We all got to do that though.
Yeah. I think I was
only listening to a song that I put out last week and I'm like, what the
always keep it there because it reminds me of the growth that I've done.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I love that.
But yeah, I think just being able to, something that I've been more deliberate with my writing is because I don't necessarily think of music as an opportunity for me to fully bar up. Like I'm slowly working on different ways that I can say things and be a lot more creative with my writing, because previously it's more like storyteller quite vibes and relatable. Mm-hmm. And I think with the way that music's going at the moment, which is somewhat unfortunate, but I think with the consumer at the moment or the consumer market, a lot of those, real thought out bars tend to go over people's heads. Yep. So I try and find this happy medium, but no matter what I'm doing now, I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm not over exaggerating it from a vocal performance perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to keep it toned back and really relaxed and something
Can I just say something though, like just on that note, and I kind of, what stood out to me when I was listening to your stuff on the way over here, and what stands out to me is the intricateness of certain moments in your songs. Like there is one song, it's on the EP. It's more of a Drake flow where you get like real intricate with the bars in the verse.
Oh yes,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you've been different.
Yes,
you've been different. Yep.
Yeah. So to me, that kind of stuff stands out. And honestly, that stuff is going to stand the test of time way better than like dumbing stuff down for the current market. Yep. Like I understand that is like a quicker trajectory to like, success.
Yep.
But I would honestly like just, I guess this is just from my point of view only. So you just got to take it with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
But I look at stuff like, that, and I go, wow, that's just because of the different, you go from intricate bars to like this singing hook that's like really soft and elegant,
Yep.
And not many people can do that. So I think that is like way more valuable to your future self than dumbing anything down.
Absolutely. I think maybe I should have worded it differently.
Right. Sorry.
No. I totally agree, because what I did say before was probably the wrong way to look at things, and without getting too deep, every day we're learning.
Yep.
And it may have taken, for someone like yourself to say something to me that would trigger something in my head.
Yep.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't try to think of real intricate bars. I think with me singing and rapping, I think when you do implement them, they're appreciated more.
Yep.
I would rather spend time on, say if I were to do an album, 3 or 4 tracks where I was really trying to bar up and have the rest full of like catchy sort of storyteller things, than to just have a full album where I'm just
not spend every second trying to
I don't actively wake up every day and think, how can I write the best bars? Because I don't see myself as just a rapper.
Yep.
And I think it's definitely required to have really, really good writing abilities, not only to pay respects to the people who did it previous, but also to keep it going. So
totally.
I totally agree with what you're saying there.
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's go back to, because obviously there was, and we don't have to talk about who your name before, but we can if you.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew you, or I met you as Bl1tz.
Yes.
And we don't have to talk about Bl1tz. I would like to talk about 3030. Like, where does he start? Why does he start? And what kind of like initiated that?
Absolutely. Well, look, to be honest, I don't have a problem with talking about Bl1tz for a real brief moment, just so that it makes sense about this reason for the
context.
change. Yeah, absolutely. So Bl1tz was a name in which that I went by, and it was a nickname that my old man had back in the day. And back in those days, my old man was a G, like proper G. So it was just something that I sort of decided that I'd just inherit.
Yeah. How old were you when you first started?
It would have been year 8 or 9.
Oh, really?
I think
Okay.
I recorded a cover of, it was an Eminem cover in my bedroom, and I had like the microphone taped to a kitchen chair because I didn't have a mic stand, and I made a pop filter out of a coat hanger and a stocking.
Yeah.
And it looked,
Classic.
I'll try and find it and show you, because
Classic.
it is just like the epitome
to see
of, I want to make it, but I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But anyways, I had that name for many, many years, only up until probably a couple of years ago. And the reason for it was because I've signed on with new management.
Yep.
And looking at the overall identity of Bl1tz, a lot of the stuff that I've released had been very, the songs that tend to go off were the club type bangers.
Yep.
So I did a couple of songs for some DJs in Melbourne, and they went really well. And it kind of flooded and washed out all of my earlier or previous stuff.
Yep.
And whenever someone thinks of Bl1tz, they always thought, I've got this really good club track, I'll send it to him. And I didn't like that.
Right.
So part of me signing on a new deal or signing on new management, I should say, was looking at my identity, where I was and where I wanted to go, and how do I eliminate that. And 3030 is obviously my postcode. So I was born and raised in Werribee, and it's something that I've always said in my music anyways.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was, almost destiny.
Yeah.
So I proposed it, they loved it, and they believed in it. I believed in it. And the rest is history. That's how we came up with it.
I think it's a bit easier to get around as well when it's something that is going to mean something to you for the rest of your life. Like obviously Bl1tz does as well, but I think it's nice to have something that you can represent to the end of your days, and it's not going to change whether you're 50 or 20 or how old you are. It's always going to mean something.
Yeah, I think also looking at it now, and this wasn't a conscious reason for me making this decision, but looking at it back at it now, the one thing that I appreciate is the fact that it's something that I came up with and started. It's not something that I subconsciously inherited from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's something that people can look back and go that he's the only person that sort of went.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one as well.
Absolutely. But
you can just own it.
I can just own it.
Yep.
It's me. I did get Bl1tz tatted on my arm, so it's still
It's still part of you, G.
It's still a part of me.
It's fine.
But I think without me going down that route, you know, I wouldn't be the type of artist and the type of person I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it gave me the ability to work with some really successful producers or DJs in Melbourne at the time. And I got to, you know, have conversations with some really cool people and important people.
Yep.
But I'm glad that, you know, I had that time. I've left it in the past. I still obviously remember it and respect it. And it's a part of the reason why I am the way that I am today.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
Yep, beautiful. So basically in September, I believe, was the first 3030 song.
Yes.
And since then, was that The Way That I Die?
Day That I Die.
Day That I Die.
Yes,
Day That I Die. And since then, you've been quite prolific. So in the last 8 months, it's been 5 singles, 1 EP, music video, ton of shows. Was that the goal when 3030 started? Was it like, let's be prolific, let's get this brand out there, let's make sure everyone knows who this is?
Yeah, in a way. So funnily enough, Day That I Die was a song that I'd written probably 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't really like the beat that I wrote it to, so I had another beat made for it. And I was just like, you know what, I need to get something out.
Yep.
I don't like sitting on my hands. I don't like waiting, which can sometimes be a pro and a con.
Yeah, totally.
Because, you know as well as anyone in this industry, preparation is everything.
Yep.
And you don't want to go ahead and drop something without doing your research, investigating, you know, what the best strategy is and whatnot. So I wasn't impatient. I wasn't impatient, but I just wanted to fucking drop something.
I wasn't impatient, but I was kind of impatient.
Yeah, I was kind of impatient, yeah. But I just thought it was good to sort of almost announce that this is me now.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah, get it out, get the ball rolling.
Yeah. So since then, you like you said, you know, we've dropped 5 singles. You know, we've done a music video, and I just dropped a 3-track EP, which I think is some of my best work, something that I really enjoyed writing. And at the start of this year, because we had nothing from September to I think December was when I dropped the next single, which was On My Way, I believe. And that that went crazy in comparison to my previous work. You know, it's nothing, you know, like people might go search it now and see like 24,000, be like, you know, there's definitely people out there with more. But that was a massive achievement for me.
Yeah, you were proud of it.
I was so proud of it. I was so proud of it. And just the circumstances in which that I wrote that song is just such a funny story.
Yeah. You want to share?
Yeah, of course. So at the time I was writing it, I had my my manager Connor sent me a beat that he'd written, and I was playing it in the car on my way to go see a girl who's no longer in the picture. But I had the beat playing, and I would have been about, I don't know, she lived about 40 minutes from my house, and I would have been about 5 minutes from her house. And I'd come up with like the catchiest hook. So I did a U-turn and went home and recorded it, and I cancelled on her. And I know it's so bad to say, but I was just, you know, when you're in that zone, when you were in that zone, and I was just like, I was super honest. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have to record this. Yeah. You know, I didn't make up some bullshit.
So you're playing the beat on the way over.
On the way over.
The hook came to you?
100%. 100%. I can't waste this energy. Yeah. And I'm not top, like, you know, people turn around and say, oh, you know, I've got something that's come up or whatever. And something generally did come up, and I was super honest about it. And she stopped talking to me from that point. And I don't blame her. Yeah.
Well, you can, at least you can hack that. Like,
but anyways, getting back to
you were true to yourself. She was true to herself. Everyone wins.
I hope you're well if you're watching this. But yes, from then on, we sat down, me and the managers sort of sat down and said, look, I said what I wanted to do this year. And that was basically throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. I said, I can write songs quickly. I can write them, take my time on them. I've got a bunch in the vault that I'm wanting to release. Let's aim for 2 songs a month, just until June, July, and we'll reevaluate, see where we're at. And I think right now we're on track still.
Yeah, cool.
You know, so I dropped 5 singles and a 3-track EP. So I still include that into, you know, the 2 songs per month. And then in between that, doing covers.
Yep. Hella covers.
I love doing covers. I love it. It's just such a smart, and I feel like anyone that's trying to reach a bigger audience, you know, for people that may not know your music, it gives them something that they're familiar with.
Yep.
And holds them close for long enough for them to potentially hear something different that they might like.
Yeah, so it's like the bait on the end of the line.
Absolutely. You're just chucking it out and hopefully you get a bite. And lately I have been, which is amazing. So,
all right, well, let's talk about that now because I want to weave in the TikTok element to this kind of part of the conversation.
Yep.
So you basically started your TikTok journey at the beginning of 2020 or 21?
Yes. Yep.
Because you were the first person that I knew that was like actually on TikTok and like creating TikToks.
So it's funny that you say that because TikTok's actually been around for a long, long time.
I know, like you were kind of late.
Not a lot of people know this,
but you're still so early.
I had a TikTok. It was under a different name. And it still exists out there.
Drop the name.
No. There's like 2 or 3 videos. I think I forgot the password, and I'm just hoping no one finds
ever sees it
because it is like the most
trash,
cringiest things. Like at that point in time when TikTok first dropped, people were doing this thing where they were recording themselves in like a slow motion like effect, and then it would play it sped up. So you would slow the song down and you would word it and you'd do like all this like weird dancing type shit. Not saying that dancing's weird.
I'm definitely gonna try and hunt this shit down.
I'm gonna be deleting it as soon as
I'm gonna hunt this shit down.
But anyways, we're talking like I'm gonna say like 2017. Like
but it used to be called something else, didn't it?
Yeah. It did. Anyways, but yeah, and then I made a new one obviously when it started popping off during COVID. I think TikTok really gained a lot of success during the pandemic. To be honest, a lot of people at home and as much as it was unfortunate, but they definitely saw benefit to it.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a great platform to get your music out there.
Yep.
I started my TikToks as just me doing funny shit because as much as, I'm dressed up or whatnot, but like I'm pretty like down to earth and just all about
bogan.
Yeah, I love just wearing like trackies and hoodies and just kicking it at home. And, during that time, me and my family are really close. It's just me, my mum and my brother now. So, and we talk to each other like shit. But that's how we show affection.
Yeah.
So people couldn't grasp the fact that I'm calling, my brother, like my mum's calling me a fucking idiot. And I'm saying the same thing back to her. It's no disrespect. Because I love that woman. She's my life. But people didn't understand that. So it just got a lot of traction. So now I've just been utilizing my platform to post up a lot of the covers that I'm doing. Which I probably should be putting on YouTube eventually, which I will do.
How many followers you got?
I think we're at 27 and a half, I'm going to say, just over 27 and a half K. Yeah.
Fuck, that's good.
Yeah. I think, so I dropped a video, which was, funnily enough, it was a video of, it's just like a 4 or 5 second video that I had in my Snapchat memories from like 2015. And I saved it and posted on TikTok and I got like 1.5 million plays. And I was like, oh, I'm famous.
What'd you do? What was it?
It's so hard to explain. It's literally just me panning the camera, just introducing to everyone to my family. And I'm just like, here's my mum. She's a bad bitch in the kitchen, cooking up a storm. Here's my dad. And then on the couch, you've got my little gay brother. And then Brandon turns around and goes, hey. And people it was just like.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, it just went off. I'll show you it. It is quite funny. But people started like duetting it and using the sound for it. And it just sort of went.
Yeah, okay.
And then, I just started like telling people how I really feel. Like just stuff like petrol prices and I don't know, not being able to use Glad Wrap. I feel like that's one thing that I really struggle with.
Yeah. It's important to talk about.
A lot of first world problems, to be honest. And it's just me taking the piss. It's just who I am.
Yeah. Just all your inner thoughts are just
my inner thoughts.
You're putting them on TikTok, essentially.
Yep, absolutely. So lately I've just been putting my covers up there, which is great. It doesn't really get a lot of traction on TikTok because I feel like they put me in an algorithm for comedy.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm kind of like restarting from scratch in a sense.
Do you think do you think since you restarted, are you finding that it's gaining traction? No, like is it starting to get back to what it used to be?
Absolutely. One thing that I've found, like I watched your podcast with Riverine. Shout out to that. That man is so gorgeous. I love him. I love him. I'm so happy that I got to meet him.
Yeah.
But I watched that podcast and he mentioned about, give me 1 month, post 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And look, it is working. It is working slowly, very slowly.
Yeah.
Very slowly. And it's only been like a week and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to continue this. I said I'm going to do 2 covers a week for the next month, reevaluate, have a look at the results and then go from there.
Yep.
And I'm still gaining, additional followers on TikTok, but a lot of it's coming through Instagram at the moment.
Yeah. So Instagram, they're working better?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I guess because your Instagram hadn't been boxed into that algorithm or that niche of like comedy.
Correct. Yes, I've been pushing music on my Instagram since day dot.
So it makes a lot more sense for that audience. They know what they're expecting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense. So I guess that's a pretty.
How are you finding your TikToks?
This week I've done fuck all because of certain circumstances.
Yep.
But up until then, I was posting 3 or 4 times a day, like Riverine was saying, and building slowly. You can see like average like 200 views, moving up to like average 300, couple of like 400 or 500.
Yep.
Followers are growing slowly. It's all slow. It's all real slow.
I think the main thing that I take out of Instagram is TikTok is to keep them short and sweet.
Yeah, 100%.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
The moment that you drag things on.
Yeah.
And they
Get
do
rambly.
this little it's like a cheeky little system where they cut the video just before the video ends.
Yeah.
So you don't actually get to and the reason why they do that is so that I believe, I'm not an expert.
He's an expert.
But from my understanding, it all goes based off watch time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So if people are watching 100% of your video and you've got it short and sweet, you've got a bigger chance of getting 100% of your video.
Do you know what? I just came up with an idea.
What's your idea?
The next single you put out, or even me, cut it off randomly. Like it, you know what I mean? Like you're halfway through a sentence and upload it like that.
Have it like have like a 46
second.
have a 3-track, have one song turn into a 3-track EP and just have it as 46-second singles where it just
that's actually not a bad idea.
Look out.
I think I just cracked the code.
Watch me jump all over that.
Yeah, I think I just cracked the code. That's hectic. So yeah, I guess the TikTok thing, I think we covered that pretty well. Let's talk about our journey, our personal journey.
Yes.
And how kind of we got to meet and who through who we got to meet.
Yep.
And I guess how our journey has kind of evolved.
It's a great story.
Yep.
It's one that let's just get straight into it, I guess.
Tell the story.
I'm an open book. I've got nothing to hide.
Go.
So our journey started, I'm going to say it's about 3 years, 4 years maybe.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there.
Yep.
And I was at a chick's house.
Yep.
A lot of my stories
sound and end with chicks. So I was leaving a chick's house. So I was on my way to a chick's house.
A lot of flames that I've tried to turn into something serious, but just never eventuated to anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anyways, it is what it is. Anyways, I was seeing a girl at the time, and I was, we just got done doing
did the dirty,
doing the
Mac Daddy,
the 3030. And anyways, she'd gone downstairs to get some water or whatever, and I was just laying in bed, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and rūku came up.
What do you mean, as a suggested person? Or?
Yeah. And I was like, who the fuck's this? Anyways, it was at that time, and you would have remembered when he had his Instagram feed and it was like all colorful and it'll be like one photo here and it was very like aesthetic. What's the word? Aesthetic. Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck does this guy think he is?
Yeah, too much effort, bro.
I was like, bro, like, calm down. This is just, but it had me hooked.
Yeah.
It did have me hooked. And I was like, who is this guy? And I saw him like with a microphone, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to suss this guy out. Meanwhile, this girl she's downstairs still. And I'm scrolling through, and it was like the first song that I heard. I can't even remember the song for the life of me now, but I remembered being instantly hooked. And I was like, I gotta fucking know who this person is. I need to know more.
Yeah.
And I planned on staying at this chick's house that night. It was, and we're talking like this is like 3 PM. And I said, I'm sorry, I got to go.
There's a lot of this that I'm starting to hear now. I'm sorry, I got to go. I'm sorry, I got to leave. Sorry, I can't come over.
I got to go. I had to go, and I'm sorry. Like I'm not. I shouldn't apologize because like this is how I felt. I'm just like this is what I need to do.
Where did you go?
I went straight home, and in my car on the way home, I was playing his music. And I followed him, and that motherfucker didn't follow me back.
Really?
He did not follow me back. And I was like liking all his shit. I was commenting on his shit. And, you know, he had more followers than me. And I don't know if it was just like I know he's not that type of person now, but at that time I was like, this motherfucker think he's better than me.
Yeah.
So I'm in the car driving home, listening to this music. I'm copping text messages like, I can't believe you just left. And I'm just like so not interested because I'm just so interested in this guy.
You just met the love of your life.
I sound so flaky, but I'm just not that. We're talking like this is old me, right? I wouldn't do that now.
No.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. But at that time, it just seemed like I was destined to meet this guy because I saw he was making moves, and I'm like, I'm trying to make these same moves. I wanted to learn off him. I wanted to understand him. Like my intentions were good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so eventually Luke, or Rūku, we'll call him Rūku, follows me back. And I'm like, yes.
Finally.
This is my in.
Finally.
This is my in. And we got to talking, and eventually, you know, you guys moved in. I didn't actually know you at that point. I only knew Koo. So he moved down to Melbourne, and I was super hyped. I was real hyped because, you know, we'd had conversations, and I'd seen him rapping in his bedroom, like with like the lights in the background, and you know he knew what he was doing, sort of thing. That's how it felt. And then we hooked up and just instantly
formed a bond.
Oh, it was just so when it's so seamless, like it just not forced.
Sense.
It was very organic. You know, we share a lot of the same beliefs.
Yeah.
We have different views.
What about in terms of what are your beliefs on and views on going commando?
Nah, I'm not about that. And that's what we disagree on because like I'm so not about having my junk in my pants without wearing underwear. I don't know how. Nah, my groundskeeper. I hate how you stole that. I hate how you just stole that and made it look like you came up with that.
Like I'm a sick cunt.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, doesn't your dick get like gene burn?
No, let's go back to the other story. Okay.
No. Like I really want to go deep on this, but yeah, we'll take it back. Anyways,
only because
I don't free ball.
Yeah, we'll just put it out there.
I'm not a porn star.
But we do know a person that does.
I do fuck like one.
Yeah.
Where were we at? Yeah,
so
anyways. So I got to meet him. Yeah, I got to meet him. And it was
same views.
Same views, same morals, you know, and he was just such a really down-to-earth person.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like at the time, like I wasn't thinking about like how much growing I would do just by being friends with him.
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed his company.
Yeah.
And I got to meet all of you guys. And I was like, these guys are really, really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have friends down here that were in the music.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, these guys actually moved down to Melbourne. I moved back down to Melbourne from Yarrawonga to chase music. So I was kind of like in a similar situation. Yeah. So that's how I just gravitated so much towards him, and I've got a lot of love for Koo.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of love for you.
Yeah.
All you boys. Like it was just almost meant to be, I guess.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's how that formed.
And then, so you come over, I suppose the first time you met would have been at the Parkville place.
Yes.
Like physically met.
Yep.
And then a couple months later, I go to put on a fundraiser.
Is that for the bushfire?
Yeah, bushfire relief fundraiser.
Yes.
That was the first show that I actually put on in Melbourne, and it was the first show that we all played together. And
yes.
Do you remember it?
I opened it.
Yeah, you did. And you bought a fucking butt ton of people.
I bought
pretty much everyone. Pretty much everyone.
Well, to be perfectly honest, that show was the first one that I'd done solo.
Okay, really?
Yes.
Oh, that was your first solo show.
That was my first solo show. I'd done many shows when I was in a band.
Like a band, yeah.
but it was the first show that I'd ever gotten up by myself as Bl1tz.
That's awesome.
Like people had obviously seen videos of me online doing covers and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first.
I didn't know that.
Nah.
I love that.
Yeah, I kept that to myself. But it was amazing. I loved it. You know, my mum was there, and that was like obviously, yeah, like a lot of close friends were there. But the fact that my mum was there, and me and her are really close, almost like brother and sister. To be perfectly honest, I love it a bit. And the fact that she was there, having a good time, dancing to the songs that she'd heard me write. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's such a awesome experience. But yeah, that was cool. I like that show.
Man, I love that. I didn't know that. I love stuff like that. I take a lot of pride in, you know, those moments and those stories. You know, like giving someone their first. Some like for other people, giving them their first time on stage. Or,
well, you gave me the opportunity to be on there for the first time.
Yeah,
without knowing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I love that.
Thank you very much.
At the end of the day, like, you know, we all want personal success, but if we can bring other people with us, and if we can build up the people around us as well, like I get a fucking massive kick out of that shit.
I think that's one thing that I really appreciate when it comes to you and Koo is, although we work within a very competitive industry, you know, music, rap, it's very competitive. I do it better than you type thing.
Yep.
The thing that we've got in our circle that I cherish and hold so close to my heart is the fact that we all want to see each other succeed.
Yep.
And it's not about, you know, me putting my needs above yours. Like we obviously have our own goals that we're going through, but we're the first ones to actually actively listen to what someone else is going through in the group.
Yep.
And provide assistance to get them to be better for themselves.
Yep.
And whether that's makes you better than me or in terms of success, that's irrelevant.
Yep.
It's about what you need and what I can actually add to it and help you become better. And whatever the outcome is, the outcome is.
Yep. And it's all going to work.
Whereas I find a lot of people, I'm not calling out anyone, so please don't take it that way, but I find like a lot of people, especially in this country, will almost support and help you to the point where they're like almost doing the bare minimum so that you can go, oh yeah, they fuck with me.
Yeah.
But they could probably do more. Yeah. But they don't want to see you do as good as them.
Yeah,
for
sure.
You know where I'm heading with this. Like
there's that mindset of like, you know, I don't want to give up my piece of the pie.
Yes.
You know, like
because if you're eating, that means I'm not eating.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just actively there.
Yeah, but I think that's absolutely wrong. The wrong mindset because Rob Carroll, who I was talking to on the podcast last week, he's an artist manager and has a PR label and stuff. He was talking about how he with his staff, like he wants them to have a piece of the pie because if they're eating, it means there's a big pie to share.
Absolutely.
So a bigger pie, you might get a smaller piece overall, but it's a smaller piece of a bigger pie that everyone gets to share.
Yes.
And it just creates a way better environment to work and exist within, where you're not having to hoard stuff all the time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, and you can see that just from like when we play shows, like we're all right at the front of all of our shows, you know, dancing, fucking just having a good time. And I just think you need that.
100%. You just brought something to my mind. Not only just you and rūku, Riverine. I know I brought him up before, but I need to mention this guy again.
He goes too hard.
He like
such a human.
I'll go to a show and this guy is literally like everyone's sober. You know, at the start of the show, people are sort of like a little bit intimidated by crowds and like dancing and stuff. Yeah. This guy is dead center in front.
Straight away.
Like right holding a beer and just fully engaged.
Boom. Yeah.
Like he does not fuck around. Like everyone needs a Riverine in their life.
I will give credit where credit is due. There is a in that group, like there was a group of like artists who I've spoken about on the last couple of shows that I've done with Dressed and with Kill Carter. There is a group of those guys who are really genuinely supportive, who like turn the fuck up. And like a good example is like the triangle at the fucking...
Oh, yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? Who
that
does
was insane.
Who does that?
That was insane.
You know what I mean?
That was insane.
All that came from like just the guys who were in that room just being like, do you know what? Let's fucking turn up for these cunts.
100%.
And that doesn't, like, not many people do that.
No.
Like, we went out of our way to make sure they felt...
It would have been so easy to go, fucking, what is this
weird shit? Yeah.
But I actually got around it. Like I low-key loved that.
Yeah.
I thought the confidence behind bringing a triangle out front of stage and building up the hype and then just ding.
It's classic.
I'd never seen anything like it.
That story will go down in history.
Oh
as far as
my
I'm
God.
concerned.
I've got it saved in my camera roll. It's like, when you can favorite stuff in your camera roll. Like that shit is never leaving my possession. I love that.
It's a zinger story and it's one that like only the people in that room will be able to understand.
The video doesn't do it justice. I feel like I couldn't hear a thing after that. Like it was booming and then all of a sudden it went dead ass quiet for like a split second and you could hear the ting of the triangle. Yeah. And then we just went off.
But do you know what? That doesn't happen if everyone in that room isn't like open-minded and genuinely supportive.
That triangle does not come out if there is only 3 people in that venue and they're all waiting at the bar.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's just like it just doesn't have.
It's a different story.
They were feeding off the energy that we were giving them, and I strongly encourage people that when you do go out to gigs to really genuinely show love and don't be afraid to get up and get rowdy.
Yeah, totally. I was reminiscing with Dressed on this podcast I did the other day. We were talking about my beginning as a hip hop artist in this in this game, and holy shit, it was like so vastly different. Like I would go to shows. As a in my early 20s when 360 and Macklemore were kind of popping off, I'd rock up with the skinny jeans and the like florally button up shirt, and I just stood out like a fucking sore thumb, and like it was, and like it was the kind of guys like, and they're all guys that I've spent like a lot of time with, and I do love a lot of them, but there was a lot of like real staunchness in the crowd, where it was almost like.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then like I'd be like, "Yo, put your hands up," and they'd be like, "All right, I'll put my hand up, but only because I want to, not because you're telling me to," kind of thing. And it was like such an intimidating kind of place for me to cut my teeth.
Was that early on?
Yeah, that was like probably. I'm talking like 10 years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah, dope.
Like that's when I first started like playing live, and God, it was scary.
Yeah, look,
it's a lot different now. It's a lot more inclusive.
It's a lot different. It's a lot different now. I definitely, we'd done gigs when I was in a band to fuck all people.
Yeah. Crickets.
Yep. And it's tough. Yeah. It is tough, especially when there's a crowd that doesn't generally fuck with your music.
Yeah.
At that moment, there wasn't a lot of people that were into certain songs that we'd done, but we played at shows where, we did a lot of like Red Hot Chili Peppers, all the way to like Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
So we had a really like versatile set.
Yeah.
So, as we progressed through, we eventually, we would confidently play at any show and know that we'd play at least one song that someone would fuck with.
Yeah, would know.
Yeah.
Because I just think about like, I'm laughing because I think about some of those moments where you look out and you just see like people looking at you going, what the fuck is going on?
Oh.
And if you let that go into your head, it fucks your whole shit up.
It does. It really does. We'd done a couple of Battle of the Bands, and this is me trying to like memorize moments. But I mean, back then, like I knew nothing about fashion or anything. Like I used to wear, I had like long hair. It would be like tipped. So I had blonde tips in it.
Blondies,
yep. Big buck teeth.
Yeah.
And I'd wear like a black t-shirt with a rip curl hoodie.
Mudgy.
And I'd wear
globe skate shoes.
Worse, I'd wear black corduroy pants. Cords. And I'd have like a pair of fucking like Asics that I'd wear for PE class. Like that was my get up. I knew nothing about fashion.
As Luke would say, swag.
Swag. It was whatever the opposite of that is. That's exactly what I like. You look that up in the dictionary, and there's a photo of me back in
pimpin'.
Yeah, we're talking like 2011.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not much has changed.
Not much has changed. I'm out here looking fly as fucking a turtleneck.
No, you do look really good.
It's nice.
I like the get up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was sort of umming and ahhing like, do I just kick it in casual, or do I dress it up a little bit?
I like this.
I don't mind.
You went the right way.
I don't mind people seeing me how I look every day.
Yep.
But sometimes when you dress a little bit more powerful.
Well,
you
just
feel
how you feel. Like it would influence how you feel, and
Yeah, I feel good.
you can convert that energy
I feel
into the conversation.
I feel so fucking good.
Yeah, great. Well, let's keep it moving.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about the first song that you put out with Ku.
Yes.
It was under a different name, but that's okay.
Yes, Blitz.
Hakuna,
Fucking love that song.
great song.
It is still as such. I don't think he appreciates it as much as what I do now,
Right.
but I think it's one of his better ones. And
I feel like it is still his best song.
yeah,
Just because it was so, like it's a classic melody. The idea of Hakuna Matata is such a well known.
And it can be applied to every like scenario in life where you have to work hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's in the gym, whether it's at work, whether it's within your like working better at your relationship.
Yeah.
Just I've been putting work in, still far from perfect. That is just magic. That's magic.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I just tried to come in with this like really smooth, buttery. Like obviously my voice is quite low on like when it comes to my vocal range. But yeah, I don't know. It just sort of he sent me that track and I think I cut it, sent it back to him within like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I had nothing written and I sent it straight back to him and he played it and he loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were filming some promo videos because we didn't actually do a clip for it, but we were filming some promo videos and it's so funny.
They're all cool though. I like them.
Yeah. There's a video on my IG or it used to be. I think I took it off now, but since the name change. But there's a video of us filming and it's like a behind the scenes video where we make a handshake up on the fly.
Yeah, right.
Because we've obviously got our handshake that we do.
Yeah.
And I've just sort of gone like this and he's sort of looking at me and we're doing this shit and it worked. But yeah, we had a really good laugh. And it was a moment that was captured that sort of represents our friendship and our humor together.
Yeah.
How we can just literally take the piss out of anything and it won't be funny to anyone that doesn't understand.
Yep.
Me and him and how we are together, but it was just something that we just connect so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a great song. It was a really, really great song. It still is.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that was the first song that you two worked on. More recently though, we've worked on a few more.
That we have.
Let's talk Big Hills because there is a somewhat interesting story there. Do you want to enlighten me and the viewers at home?
Yes, and this story doesn't involve me being at a girl's house.
Trying something different.
Nah, I feel like there's only two stories where it starts and ends like that, and I've mentioned them both in this podcast, which is great. Big Hills was so me and my brother had planned to write an album.
Yep.
Together, which we've still got in the works.
Yep.
Which we can get to after this story if you wish.
Yep.
But more importantly, we started writing to this beat, and we were fucked up. We just drink heaps and just like get in the stew and just fucking really vibe it. And I'd written the hook. I'm up in the clouds, daydreaming, and that was all that was on that file.
Yep.
So we hadn't written any verses or anything like that for it. And we sort of just packed up and went to bed and that was it. And then I think fast forward, it was something like, it was when you guys were making Dutch Boys.
Yep.
So it would have been like a few months later that you were starting that.
Yep.
And Ku showed me Big Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that beat came on, I was like, where the fuck have I heard that beat before? So I'd forgotten all about this song this
late night session with this book.
Yeah. Anyways, I went back through like my SoundCloud private and I found it.
Ah, okay.
And it just so happened that the section that you and Ku had like had a gap in the song where you just didn't know what to do with was the section that I'd recorded the hook.
Yeah.
And it was placed in the exact same spot.
Perfect.
So I went home and I sent Ku the vocals and then we
put it together.
I made magic.
Yeah.
I love that. I fucking love that song. That song is definitely up there.
Yeah. The thing I love most about it is the dynamics. Like it's just so, like it has so many different ranges and it just kind of keeps moving.
Yeah, absolutely, and it keeps you captivated too. So, I think one thing with a song that has so many different elements in it, it's very easy to lose the viewer or the listener.
Yep.
But with that song, there's so many, like it keeps the listener like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not too much. I think with that record, it definitely found a sweet spot.
Yep.
And because we've all got different sounds, very different sounds, it just gels real nice.
Yeah.
And it goes off live.
I love playing it live, and I think it seems like it's the one that's converted best out of the EP and out of the ones that we've been playing more recently. It's the one that seems to get the energy up the most. And that's probably got to do with all three of us being on stage.
Yep.
The different dynamics, you singing, Luke's kind of witty bars, me with the hook, then it's all happening and it makes it really fun live.
I think when you're collaborating with other artists, sometimes it can feel forced.
Yep.
I don't get that with Big Hills.
Yeah, totally.
I don't get that at all. I don't get that feeling. I get this feeling of just like it was meant to be. Like it fits perfect how it was meant to be made.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to perform for me when it's like that.
Yep.
So I really appreciate that song. I really do.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you mentioned the album that you're working on with your brother.
Yes.
What does that look like? Where is it?
It's written.
Yeah. Whole thing written?
It's all written.
Just has been recorded?
I wrote the whole thing. I'm not going to lie. Just get that out there.
Thrown under the bus, Brando.
If it's one thing, I love my brother so much, more than life itself. But one thing that man cannot do is write music. And he owns that.
Yeah.
And he will actively turn around and say, he will deliberately turn around and say, I can't write a song. You write it and I'll sing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, sweet, I'm all for it. So, there was definitely, sections in the album that we've got on the go at the moment where he had influence and input, definitely. But all the good parts were me.
Let's be real.
Let's be real.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. I can't, there's no off switch on this.
100%.
But yeah, it's all written, it's all recorded. Like we've got all the demo done. We're just waiting for a couple of beats to be remade because I obviously sent it through to my managers and there was just sections that they weren't really that fond of in terms of the beat production on it. So once that's done, then we'll put together a release strategy for that one. I think there's not one song on there that I don't see. That I see as a weak song. Right. I think it's 7 tracks and each song in its own right sort of
stand out.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
nothing.
excited.
Yeah, it's like nothing that I've ever experienced, to be honest.
Is he singing on every single one as well?
Yeah, he's singing and he's got his own verses on there, like not rapping, but sort of like, doing his own thing. And it's we touch in different genres. And yeah, there's like a bit of like a house vibe track, or there's 2 like sort of techno house vibey sort of things.
Yep.
I don't think techno was the right word, but it's definitely house. And the rest are like very sort of trap R&B vibes, very catchy hooks. You're welcome when you listen to it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
But yeah, his voice is. I don't know anyone that I listen to that sings that captivates me as much as Brandon. His voice is just so underrated. Like it's because he's not out there to be a musician. He just loves singing.
Yeah.
He's not sort of working towards it
just for the love.
Yeah, that's right. He's not working towards it to get anywhere with it at this stage. Not that I know of. He's just happy doing it for fun. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah. Is that are you planning to cook that up for the remainder of this year or somewhere?
Yeah, so I think, look, to be honest, it's not on the front of my mind at the moment. It's I've got other things on the go that I want to achieve, but I would love to get it out by this summer.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think there's a lot of tracks in there that would go well with the summer climate. Being out with your mates and out swimming and all that. Yeah, just enjoying the good weather. A lot of people are a lot more in more of a positive mind frame in that sense, and there's a lot of positivity about it. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So hopefully by the end of the year.
Hectic. Let's talk about Jack Harlow.
Yes.
What is
Big fan.
You can also talk about other like big inspirations musically for where you are right now, where your sound is going.
Yep.
But I feel like Jack is, one big one.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I fuck with so much with him is the fact that I relate to him a lot in the sense of how quirky he is in terms of, how do I say it? Just how he acts around his mates and stuff like that. Like you see little glimpses of, behind the scenes stuff and him being just a bit weird and quirky or just taking the piss.
Yeah.
And I connect with that a lot because I'm not, for someone that has every reason to be pissed off with the world and depressed and all that sort of stuff, which is stuff that I've dealt with in the past, but it's just I don't take things too seriously.
Yeah.
I'm very much.
Are you talking about like when he was like hitting on Drusky?
Yeah.
Drusky?
Yeah. Shit like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Where he's like taking the piss out of himself.
Yeah, or he's like, in an interview, there's one circulating around at the moment where he's just like finishes up with an interview. It's like, all right, love you.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. It's just, I really fuck. But also just his ability to storytell. And when I'm listening to his music, I'm there with him.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that I take from it. And just how smooth and sexy his voice sounds on the track is just something that I appreciate a lot. I know there's some people out there that don't actually fuck with him at all, and that's fine. But I just,
where are they? Point them out.
But at the moment, I'm sort of leaning into that a little bit more. Yeah.
Any other big inspirations at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Gashi.
Okay.
Gashi is an artist he's living in LA at the moment, but he's actually a refugee from Albania. And his family migrated over to New York, and his sound is very unique. He has this album or a mixtape called Stairs, which I discovered in 2016 when he dropped it. And that's kind of where I get my wanting to be versatile and to dab into different genres. I get it from him because he dropped this song called Disrespectful, which was it just blew up. It blew up when he dropped it. It's a real trap vibe and the story behind it, in a nutshell, without going too deep into it, is basically, he was ready to give up on music.
Yep.
And these guys had this beat playing and he was taking a piss. And he just came up with the vocal in his head and he just said, fuck it, throw me on this. And it turned out to be an absolute banger. You get me, fam. Like it was a proper banger, fam. And he just continued on. And his versatility is amazing. Like he sings. He dropped an 80s album. He can rap, and now he's like, he obviously moved to New York, and his backstory, like if you have the time to go search him up,
check it out.
Yeah, it's just very inspirational because he's been told no a lot.
Yeah, and
there's a clip that was also that surfaced not too long ago. It was probably 2019, just pre-pandemic or something, where he was in like a record label, like a boardroom.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he's like performing
the energy is
and
crazy.
that's literally how I vision me. Like my mentality at the moment, or where I've always where I've been with my music is, if I'm in front of the right people, I don't give a fuck how old they are, what their background is, whatever it is. If their job is to critique me as a performer, that's how I would act. Exactly. And when I saw that, I was like, that's me. And it's actually quite funny if you go back and watch that video, this old white dude just swivels back on his chair to give him a fist bump. And Gashi's just so in the moment, he just dogs him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, he just sort of goes for the fist bump and he's just, oh, okay. And he's just like bopping away.
But what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
you just got to bop. Yeah. Poor cunt.
But yeah, so I think Gashi and obviously Drake's a really, really big influence of mine. That's he's sort of like storyteller flow, how choppy he is when he raps is something that I've sort of taken a really good liking to, and something that I've tried to implement certain areas into my own music and try and make it my own. But yeah, early stages was just Michael Jackson. That was all that was. I've actually got that in my bio. I think I've got and Savage Garden. that's all that was playing in my house.
Yep.
And I had I used to have like those little CD players.
Yep.
In my bedroom, and I'd be
Pimpin'.
playing like 50 Cent, Eminem, Ludacris, and the swearing got too much for my mum.
Oh.
So my old man went and got me a CD Walkman that fell off the back of a truck, and I used to just blast that so no one would listen to the swearing.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know how we got back to that, but that's my influences. Yeah. So Eminem, 50 Cent, Michael Jackson, Savage Garden, and then, going up through my teens was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Spin Doctors I got into a little bit, Green Day a lot, a couple of solo artists here and there, and then coming into the new age now, like Drake, Jack Harlow, Gashi, Travis Scott, St. John, big St. John fan. And yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Beautiful. 3030.
Yes.
What motivates you to succeed in music?
I've got a song that I'm going to drop where the opening bar is, all of those that know me know I don't do this for trophies.
Yep.
I don't want, and that's honestly true, I don't do it for the accolades. I do it because, and not to sound cliche, because it does sound cliche, but obviously knowing my background somewhat, now I did it as, an escape, I guess.
Yep.
What motivates me to become successful in music is, and I've got you to thank for this, it's performing live. That feeling, that euphoric feeling, sometimes after I do a show or do a set, I've gotten so lost in the moment and enjoyed it so much that I barely remember it until hours later, because the adrenaline's pumping, and that feeling is such a great feeling for me. I love it, absolutely love it. But I also want to look back on my life and go, you know what it's like. You put so much fucking time and effort into it. A lot of things that people don't see or are able to appreciate. I'm rehearsing in my room every night. I'm putting all of this fucking work in. I'd love to see the reward for that. If it doesn't happen, so be it. But I really, ultimately, I want to make my family proud. I want to make myself proud. That's what motivates me. And I enjoy doing it.
Yep. One thing that, just off the back of that, one thing that I thought about on the way over here when I was listening to your music is that there was one line, I don't remember the song or the line, but paraphrasing, it was basically people don't see the work that goes in until, I don't know, that's basically the gist of it. And yeah, I know that you work hard. I know that you've been working hard. And, one of the conversations we had recently is I want to see the fruits of my labor, essentially.
Yes.
One thing I would say to you, and I only thought of this on the way over here, so I'm saying it to you for the first time now, is just be patient. I know you've been patient.
Yes.
But I think you just really need to remember that I honestly believe that if you stay on the trajectory with the same output and the same consistency, it's inevitable that you'll reach success. I think you just have to be patient.
Yes.
Because I know that with the amount of work that you're putting in, it would be easy to go, all right, why aren't I on a slightly bigger stage? Why don't I have slightly more people watching? Why don't I have slightly more downloads and shit like that? Because you could easily look around at any drill artist that's come out in the last year, put out their first song, 1 million streams, and fucking touring all of a sudden. You could look at that and go, I'm putting in all this work, I'm putting out all these songs. So one thing I would say to you is ignore that. Be patient, because it is inevitable if you just stay this path.
I agree. And I appreciate you saying all that. Honestly, that it means a lot. And I think for me at the moment, there was definitely a time where I wasn't seeing the reward for the hard work that I was putting in.
Yeah.
And it was very disheartening.
Yeah. I get that.
But I think now, to answer your question, what motivates me, it's me and
Yep.
my love for music, right? That's what my phone's ringing. I do
That's all right.
apologize.
That's all
I
right.
should have had it on Do Not Disturb. What I motivate me.
Yep.
I guess the answer that I gave you is probably more the goal, like what I'm trying to get to.
Right.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
But I definitely agree. There's definitely been times where I haven't. I need to take a step. I needed to take a step back and actually just understand that I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things.
Yeah.
And that
You're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, and I'm starting to realize that now, especially with the hard work that I'm putting in, and I'm seeing little progression. But even if there wasn't any progression, I'm still progressing as a person.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I've tried to be a lot more conscious of is looking at things from a different perspective and not letting, I guess, numbers and analytics like to drive my motivation.
Totally.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Totally. Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
But I
And
definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think it is easy to let go of that sight or let go of that vision or that idea. But I guess you just need someone to say it like plainly sometimes. Just be patient.
Yeah, so I was saying it to one of my really good friends, Eddie Active. Shout out Eddie Active. He's actually become one of my mentors in this journey. He's always on my ass. Like, what are you doing this week? Like in terms of covers, like what songs are you choosing? Send them through to me so I can tell you if they're going to be good or not. And he's always playing my music in his gym. And he sent me a video. He's got a trainer that works there. She's about, I don't know, I think she's in her 40s or 50s. She's listening to my music and I just dropped like a new song this week. And she's playing it in the gym and she's talking to the people that she's training and she's like, this is 3030. Like if you don't know him, like this is my favorite song.
Awesome.
And he sent me the video of that actually happening. And I said to him, look, I love that because it's so refreshing to see other people acknowledge the end result or the end product and really fuck with it because it almost reminds me that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And he said, look, and he said exactly what you said. It's funny that you sort of brought it up. And this was on the way here today. He said, just because you don't see the numbers, just because you don't see the follows, just because you don't see the reposts or the shares doesn't mean that your music isn't touching people or isn't reaching people.
Yeah.
But also understand that there's people out there that, would fuck with your music but don't actually have social media.
Absolutely.
That go to gigs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he said, just keep going, keep doing what you're doing the right thing. So I really appreciated that. Whereas, it's very difficult to get into that mind state that, what I'm doing is the right thing that I should be doing. Because, for example, if I look at, what he's doing, like he's heavily into bodybuilding and changing people's physiques and making sure that their lifestyles are great. A lot of the changes in that industry are physically, like you're able to see it.
Yes.
Like if you got a six pack, someone can't turn around and say, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Like you have a six, I can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that industry, it's probably more based around, am I big enough to be posting this photo or, do you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different. Whereas with music, it's very difficult to see the results if we're not focused on the numbers.
Yeah. Well, it's subjective.
Correct.
Music is subjective. Physical appearance, like fitness and physical appearance is objective. Like you either are or you aren't.
Yes.
Whereas like music is so subjective. It's like, are you successful? Well, I mean, I guess, but maybe not.
Well, that's the thing. What's successful to me might not be successful to
100%,
you.
yeah.
So,
but there's a standard when it comes to like most things. There's a standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is or isn't.
Yeah.
It's like very black and white. Whereas music is so grey so often.
Yeah, I think as long as I've got people as long as I'm still putting out music and I'm enjoy doing it, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah.
And I would never release anything that I don't fuck with. And having people, listen to it, come up to shows is just like an amazing feeling that I really love.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like all the shows that were played recently, like your energy's been great. And I think, if you go see you live, it'll be even more valuable. Like it'll make even more sense. You know?
I would love to see that. I would love to see myself live. Like I would love, because I mean, back on, like, people don't see the work that goes on behind.
Yeah, totally.
Man, I remember how many years I've like rehearsed songs in front of the mirror and visualizing myself on stage or visualizing myself in a stadium full of people, visualizing how I would interact with the crowd, little things like that. And that's something that I've done for 17 years.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Practice.
It's just, and the thing is like, every time that I have someone new that comes to my shows that knows me outside of music or knows me just as, you know, me, they're like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
Who is this? And it's not until I'm up on stage that comes out of me.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. It's
good shit.
But I would love to have someone just like record my whole set and see it through the eyes of like a spectator.
Yeah.
I might have to.
Maybe we'll do that.
Might have to hire someone to come through and
see the whole thing,
film that shit.
All right, what's next for 3030? What's the goal for? Let's just talk about this year. I want to know what's happening, what people can expect, what they can look out for.
Absolutely. Well, we just had a song drop with King Creo.
Yep.
Shout out King Creo. He's an absolute fucking legend.
Yep.
That was
last Friday.
Just this Friday, just gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually did a little surprise drop and I forgot. I forgot that I dropped it, and I woke up and I was like making a coffee and had people like fucking messaging me going, "Track's great," and I'm just like,
rolling.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Oh, that was today. Yeah. So I surprise dropped on myself.
Dude, that's a very successful surprise drop.
I love it.
You surprised yourself.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, going forward this year, I've got some really, really exciting tracks or records that I'm doing. I've got one that I don't want to release the feature, but she's an amazing singer. And
Iggy Azalea.
No. Come on.
Mariah Carey.
No.
Pauline Zavelberg.
No. She's amazing. I'll put it that way. Okay. And it's a very emotional track, and it sort of dives deep into my childhood relationship with my old man. The song's called Dear Dad.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hectic. I've got goosebumps now thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really excited for that. Going forward though, for the remainder of the year, I'm going to be, I want to do as many shows as possible. Doing shows for me is like being in the gym, working on my fitness. And it's something that I really enjoy. And every time, I don't know if it's the same for you, but every time I do a show, I get really hungry to write more music.
Yep, 100%.
I listen to what tracks work, what don't.
Yep.
So yeah, doing more shows for sure.
Yep.
I would love to do an interstate gig.
Yep.
Somewhere.
We are going to do that.
Yep.
We're going to make that happen.
Yep. I would love for that to happen. And then, I'm going to continue with covers. So I'm going to try and keep this 2 covers a week. I'm probably a bit behind because obviously I've got a show tomorrow. So I've been preparing for that. But, going forward, I would love to keep doing the 2 covers a week because I've been getting a lot of traction off those and I think people are appreciating them.
Yeah, don't take the foot off.
Nah, and I'm gonna be whacking them into like a SoundCloud playlist.
Yeah.
So they'll be like,
that'd be cool.
3030 remixes of May 2020, and then they'll do, you know what I mean?
Like So Fresh.
Yeah, like So Fresh. Yeah. But a month by month one. I should do it seasonally. 3030 remixes.
Summer of love.
Autumn 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to continue with the covers. I've got obviously the album with Brandon. So there's 7 tracks that I'm really looking forward to release on that one.
Yep.
And I'm really trying to I guess, get my name in the right conversations for collaborating with new artists who are potentially a lot bigger than what I am.
Yep.
But are willing to give me a shot. I think, doing a feature for someone who's on a larger scale than what I am would be really good. I'm at that spot now, I believe. And I think I'm good enough. Sorry, I know I'm good enough. And yeah, just keeping that momentum going. Like right now, like this whole year, like I mentioned at the start of this podcast, was just all about throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
So making sure that I'm maintaining this versatile release strategy.
Yeah.
And not obviously I wouldn't release anything that I don't fuck with myself, but seeing what people like, what people don't like, so then I can sort of analyze it.
Yeah,
and
refine.
Refine it and rejuvenate and release again, that sort of thing. So I've got a song coming out with Rūku. That song's called Drippy. And it is drippy.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
So we'll perform that tomorrow, which I'm really, really excited about. And just keep on this path. I think next year will be a big year for me again. I'm hoping, or I'm going to be working towards it. I think next year would be a year where I would expect or aiming for I wouldn't say expect, but I'm aiming for to do like, a lot more shows interstate.
Yeah. Yep.
And potentially overseas.
Few tours. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm aiming for anyways. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying where I'm at. I'm enjoying my sound. I'm having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm meeting some really nice people, which is really good.
Yep. Awesome.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good note to end this on.
Yes.
3030, I want to say thank you very much for joining me on Slaaap Haaapy.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been really good. And ladies and gentlemen, everything that we've spoken about in this conversation will be linked below. If you're on YouTube, go check out 3030. His new song with King Creo came out surprisingly only a couple of days.
On Friday. That song's called Know It.
Know It. Go check that out. We'll link it all below. Go follow 30 on all the socials. He's going to be playing plenty of shows really soon all around Melbourne. So make sure you come to a show. 30, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay slapping out there. We'll see you next week on Slaaap Haaapy. It's been a riot.
I like it.
All right, that's it. Bye.
Okay, see you later. See you later.
We can do it like this all day. Hey, don't stop. Inhibitions run away. Hey, don't stop. Let a bug hit windshield.